I spend a lot of time in this place thinking about how we make the world a more engaging and meaningful place.
Gabe Zichermann has worked with dozens of companies, including Apple and CBS, to make their online products more irresistible.
We have really important things to say, but people are not listening to the things that we say the same way that they used to. The world of engaging with people and communicating with them has changed.
He's best known in Silicon Valley for his expertise in something called gamification, using techniques from video games to insert fun and competition into almost everything on your smartphone.
This is all about looking at your customer from a motivational and emotional standpoint, not necessarily from a demographic standpoint first. The number one reason why driving rates have fallen off a cliff among American teenagers is because they're getting the message about not texting and driving, so they're choosing not to drive.
So we said, okay, can we build behavioral prediction using the phone? Started off with, your usage data, but imagine over time that you're able to incorporate all these different sensors that can get at your state of mind and what's going on, how anxious you are, how tired you are, how well you slept. All this stuff is in your phone. Okay, so can we take that data and actually predict whether or not people are going to act out?
The science behind that is called habituation. And all of your human senses, your brain is wired to eventually habituate to stimuli. That is to say, to normalize stimuli.
The food industry, understanding this really super well, is locked in an arms race with your senses. They are constantly turning the volume up on your senses, right? They know you get bored of their stuff pretty fast and they got to give you something new. And you know what? It's not just the food business. Literally every company on earth would like for you to use their product and service to the exclusion of everything else. People talk about our economy as being driven by information or being driven by attention, but I actually think no matter how we look at it, we live in an addiction economy.
Consider this device. This is not a good phone, people, right? We all acknowledge this is not a good phone. We can never, ever go back. Our expectations have been changed irrevocably. The average American today will look at this device almost 100 times while they're awake today. 100 times, right? And most of you in the room are like, 100? I did that this morning before breakfast.
The rise of social and mobile technology had disintermediated human contact in a way that was now a crisis. Whether that's everybody looking into their phone all day long like this, going out to a restaurant like the people in this picture, you've done it. You've done it. We've all done it. I know you've done it. And this ubiquitous mobile technology has allowed us to transform our anti-boredom strategy. Now, even if you're bored for 60 seconds, you can pick up your phone and do something and immediately get some gratification for that 1 minute. So we're filling in all the cracks. And it's mobile technology that's really enabled us to do that.
From the marketing standpoint, if you don't make your products and services engaging enough, if you don't think about them the way this intensively changed new human thinks about marketing and product experiences, you too will lose them.
And gamification is, think of it as non-fiction gaming. It's gaming with your real friends and your real money and your real stuff in the real world. It's non-fiction gaming.
We take deliberately the ideas of games and apply them to changing people's behavior and making the world a more interesting, more dynamic, and more creative place. Anytime you challenge yourself to accomplish something and you achieve it, your brain releases a little bit of a beautiful, beautiful chemical called dopamine. Challenge, achievement,
That's what game designers do better than anybody else in the whole entire world. They design systems around user motivation that's intended to get somebody from where they are today at point A to where they wish they could be, point B, in a series of discrete steps that they can follow and feel good about as they get there.
In fact, science today tells us that addiction is connected to our dopamine loop in our brain, but it's hijacked in addiction. It makes you want to do that thing more and more and more. And so addiction is not something that other people face. You are born an addict. What's different today is that technology is now the end addiction in and of itself.
Like if you think about regular life, how often do you get that shot of dopamine? Like once a month or once a year, or how many marathons can you run? Once a lifetime? And in games, we get that hundreds of times per hour.
Usually, this is what the pattern looks like now. Welcome. Do this simple challenge, like any idiot can do, right? Do this simple challenge. Yay! Okay, here's another one. Can you do it?
Cool. Here's one more. Can you do it? Yay! Register now. Now, gamification enables us to drive perseverance. That failure loop I talked about, it teaches you, the player, that failure is okay and you need to keep pushing through. Games are the only force in the known universe that can get people to take actions which are against their self-interest in a predictable way without the use of force. It doesn't matter how ingrained the behavior is. It doesn't matter how culturally significant the behavior is. People will follow their bliss. 4/5 of the American population has watched broadcast entertainment with a second or third screen open at the same time. 22 minutes, we can't focus on one thing. Remember when TV was the distraction? And now we need a distraction from the distraction just to feel like our brains are engaged for that period of time? But these algorithms are designed to actually take your willpower and use it against you. They learn how you resist them, and they come up with alternatives to overcome your willpower. And so most people, when they think of like terrible technologies that have irrevocably harmed our society and pitted young and old against each other and destroying the fabric of our lives, most people point to this mobile device, this smartphone, and think it's at the heart of this. While people are out arguing over here about the effect and the power of games, the medium, to change people, they're missing what I believe is the forest from the tree. And that is to say, we are on the cusp of a significant and unprecedented step in the evolution of humanity. By the age of 5 or 6, today's American kids have used more technology and understand more about the internet and tech than most of us understood by the age of 30. And we stand in between two kinds of humans. One based on the old model where technology was a nice to have, and one based on the new model where technology is the context through which we interact with ourselves and with each other. And the future just feels upward and onward. Thank you.